Welcome back to the Man Cave, everybody, for episode 69 of the ManTFup Podcast. I'm Kimmy B.
And Lenny.
And before we go any further, please remember to like, subscribe, share, and follow absolutely any and everywhere. And as you hear something that either gets on your nerves or triggers you or leads you to some sort of thought process, please feel free to drop your comments, especially if you're watching our clips on TikTok, on YouTube, and anywhere else that you can find us. Because, like I said, when we started, we are absolutely everywhere. Now, Len, you know I love when I
Wait, I got one more thing to add to the intro. Just the intro.
What?
Listen, if a clip pisses you off or annoys you, go watch the episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because it might be a little bit out of context. Or you might not hear the
Intentionally.
rebuttal of me or Kimmy on said comment.
Yeah.
Now we can go ahead.
I like that.
Talk
Please
about
watch the whole episode. They're like, don't you know we live in a world of 15 and 30-second clips? Like that's
Watch it 15 seconds at a time. I don't give a shit.
All right. So you know I love when I can take a little pop culture and roll it into our podcast. And this week is one of those weeks. Joe Jonas, 1/3 of the Jonas Brothers, and his soon-to-be ex-wife, Sophie Turner, making headlines, obviously, in the wake of the quote-unquote dissolution of their marriage. You know, a lot of speculation as to why they're splitting up. I really don't care about Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner like that. I mean, I love them both individually as artists. But what happens in their marriage is what happens in their marriage. However, we're starting to get some information out, and I think it's very pertinent to just where we're at in 2023. Apparently, Joe Jonas decided to log into his Ring camera account at his home in Florida, which is where Sophie had been with the kids, you know, him and the Joe Bros getting ready to go back on tour. And you know, that was the initial headline was Joe Jonas sees something on like Ring camera and says that's the last straw. Well, now we found out that it wasn't so much what he saw, it was what he heard. Apparently Sophie was there talking shit about him with one of her homegirls, right? And that got his mantees all in a wad. And he was like, she's talking about me with her friends. I want a divorce. And that's exactly how I imagine him doing it too. And it just got me thinking, like,
You shouldn't marry gay men?
And he's not. He's like a little rock star, whatever. But it does seem like a puss move. Like, I'm going to divorce you over something that I heard you saying to a friend. I'm sure there were other issues in the marriage prior to. I know you pointed out he's probably already sleeping with somebody else. That's neither here nor there, in my opinion. I'm talking specifically about this. Like, for eons, women have gone out with their friends and talk shit about their partners. And I think men do the same thing, or y'all just don't talk. Y'all probably have a rule where it's we don't talk about spouses at all just to get away from the spouses. I don't know. But talking shit, venting is a part of life. You know, we have therapists that we pay money to in order to allow us to talk shit about our partner, our children, our parents, our jobs, whatever. We pay people to do this. So what is the difference between getting a little free therapy on your front porch with your homegirl or paying a therapist to talk shit about your man? At the end of the day, people get on each other's nerves. I don't think that that's a reason why you get divorced, but I also feel like that's such an invasion of privacy, like to log into your Ring camera, to turn the audio on, and then to use what you observe in a private moment against someone.
Yeah, I think in today's day and age.
In a partnership.
In today's day and age, if you don't expect that someone is tracking you or listening to you or watching video cameras with you on them, then you're kind of living in a different time zone.
Lenny, your partner though, you're the person that isn't that in the vows, like to honor, trust, cherish, all these things.
I mean,
like,
well, you're correct. It's in the vows and it's in this. Yet the divorce rate of 30 years ago and the divorce rate now, it's like people get married now and they get divorced in a year. They get divorced in 2 years. The divorce rate is so fucking high.
Stop!
That it's just
stop eavesdropping on your partner through the Ring camera.
I don't know that that's it.
I mean, if you're gonna get upset at the thought of your significant other bitching about you to a friend, to a confidant, I mean, it's in the name of the person that they're talking. Their confidant, like someone you confide in. Like, if you're going to violate their trust and their privacy by ear hustling in on a private conversation, don't be mad at what you hear. It's like the age-old adage, don't go looking for something you don't want to find, right? Men have been saying it to their partners for decades when it comes to cell phones and text messages and photos. Don't go looking for something. Don't ask a question you don't want the answer to. All of this shit. Now, y'all are on the other side of it, literally logging in and wanting to watch it in HD. I don't understand.
Well, I mean, that apparently doesn't work. That's one of those, new age things. You said you want to evolve. That's part of evolving.
No.
Oh, no. That's part of it.
No, putting
it's
a tracker
clearly part of it.
On your partner or having those are there for the safety of your home, right? If you're away and you're trying to check in, make sure everything is good, or if God forbid there is an incident, now you've got footage of hopefully whoever the perpetrator was.
So your family sharing thing on your phone is not so you can log in and know
it's for
that
safety.
Your wife
not so you can stalk your children.
Yeah, or your wife says, "I'm going to get my nails done," and she's at the bar. I mean, that's what people think of it as.
That's no, not everybody thinks of it that way, though.
Clearly, people who are in situations like celebrities, for instance, probably have a more difficult time trusting their partners to some extent, because all they have to do is walk outside and get some pussy.
Let me tell you something. Joe Schmo, the trash man, can get as much pussy at I'm not even buying into the whole stuff. And I understand that I have a lot of friends that are high profile people. So I understand what you're saying. Like, a man is only as faithful as his options, and the same can be true of a woman, I'm sure, at that level. I think that this goes beyond celebrity and whatever. This is one of those things where we are getting so used to having
if you had a
unlimited access.
You had a man
no way.
that was...
I don't want to know. I learned my lesson from fucking Twitter. Like, I thought I was part of the FBI fucking special task force. Like, I promise you, really and truthfully, if Twitter profiles were a part of profiling serial killers, boy, hire me now, because I'm going to find them. I was a lurker. Hi, my name is Kimmy B. I am a reformed Twitter lurker. The deep dot was next level. I lost days, probably weeks or months of my life stalking my ex on Twitter. Like, for real. When we were broken up, like, just trying to figure shit out. I didn't call him on it. I was literally just trying to look and that was a subliminal tweet. Now who's this and who's following and what did he like? And okay, I'm going to go over here and who is this person? Now I'm in her profile. Nah, it's a mess. I learned my lesson. No, I don't even follow the people that I date on social media. I don't want to know. There's a level of peace that comes with just not knowing. And if I can't trust you in that way, like, I used to do the drive-bys in college, like, and I don't even care. I will own it and admit I lived with athletes. I would literally be watching one girl walk out the door and get into an elevator knowing there was another one coming up, and the likelihood that they could possibly see each other, I'd be like, oh, please don't let me have to break no shit in the hallway right now. Like, everybody was babe because I didn't want to mess people's names up. Like, I saw it all. I had a 6'5" roommate who caught himself creepy crawling through the fucking backyard, banging on the slider because he got caught driving at a drive-thru at a Dunkin' Donuts by his girl in somebody else's car. 6'5", on his hands and his knees, talking about, let me in. My person at the time was there and was like, y'all got the wrong kind of security, because he's banging on the slider and she's at the front door. Bah, 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 bah. I've seen it. I know how shady shit can be. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want the password to the Ring camera at your house. Like, if we live together and I have access, that's a different situation. But there's some shit I don't want to know.
Clearly people want to know.
Why?
They just do.
Do you want to fight? Like, no. And then but then there's also a control element of it. And there's, again, like, that speaks to the level of respect your person has for you. Like, if you log in, maybe you get an alert on your phone and you see that your wife is having girls' night, and you then choose to turn on the audio and listen, that's trash. Like, that's just a trashy move. That's a trashy move.
But that's today's society.
Because on the flip side of that,
90% of today's society lives through other people's shit.
That's whack, though. It's whack.
But that's the way it is.
Because you know what? If your girl was doing the same thing and it was poker night and she heard some shit,
Oh, she definitely hears
and then
some
brought it to, you know what I mean?
Because guys talk shit all the time.
But like, or he's cheating, you know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden she's in the drama.
Even if they're making it up,
you'd have a problem with it, I think. I like most men that I know would take issue with their person bringing something to their attention that they found in a covert manner, right? Like, so Johnny's cheating on Sharon? How the fuck? Where'd you get that from? Well, at poker night, and I got an alert on my phone. Wait a minute, hold up. So you got an alert on your phone, you knew we were home.
Here's the first thing Jonas did wrong. He let people know that he heard it. And see, that's the best thing about women. Women immediately come at you with what they heard. Mm-hmm. Men take that shit in, and they log it, and they have it. And then they go on to the next level. Okay, well, if she's talking shit over here, maybe I need to check over here. And maybe I need to check over here. And never do they use that to let out where it came from or how they got it. Women, on the other hand, are like,
yeah, because I have the proof. Like, there's
proof of what?
I'll pull the footage.
I got
the footage.
But he's got proof of her talking shit about him when he could have had proof of her whatever. If he knew she was talking shit about him, he could have just sat back, not said anything, and just waited and put more effort into monitoring her and seeing what's going on.
Do you hear yourself right now?
I'm just telling you how guys and girls think.
Do you work for Intel? Like,
girls
I don't understand.
Girls can't control their emotions. They immediately fucking spew it out.
Clearly, neither could he, and he's a man.
Like I said, don't marry gay fucking people.
Okay, wow. Pussy, maybe. Like,
okay.
Don't marry a bitch.
Don't marry a bitch.
Don't marry a bitch ass man.
A bitch ass man.
And he gives me the bitch assness is at an all time high with Joe Jonas right now, for sure. But again, there's two areas that I feel like he needs to man the fuck up. One, spying on your wife on the patio while she's having girls' night is just corny. And then two, the fact that that's what you're going to use as your means of, or your reasoning, but like that's your final straw, something that happens in every fucking marriage on the planet.
Yeah.
Like every marriage. Like,
you should hear her complaining about you leaving the seat up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she's bitching about that too, for sure. I mean, they're just, I don't, like, that to me is like, if this is where we're at in relationships, this is frightening. And then on top of that, this is the example. So here's the deal. As a father who has a daughter, how would you feel if your teenage daughter was being tracked by her teenage boyfriend? I don't think you'd be okay with that. But he's learning it from his parents, like that. This is what a healthy relationship looks like. We log in and we see what, mom's doing when she's home by herself, or what dad's doing.
Here's the difference that you have to put into context when you're talking about teenagers. For teenagers, it's innocent. It is just that
stalking.
No, it is just knowing where they are and hoping they're okay.
Of an abusive relationship. Like, there's a very fine line.
Until you've been jaded in a relationship, you don't think that way.
No, there are people who are abused at a young age that become abusers at a young age. You have to be you're making very light of a very real situation. They're being emotionally abused via text messages.
You used my daughter as an example.
Uh-huh.
So if my daughter and her boyfriend are tracking each other, it's not out of mistrust or...
What?
It's not out of anything...
You think that that's healthy?
No, I think it's normal because it's on every fucking phone. Share my iPhone. Every one of my son's friends, my youngest friends, is on his iPhone. He knows where all his friends are at all times. They all do.
Are different than your relationship, though, at 14 or 15. Why do you need to know? Like, they're literally shrugging his shoulders at me.
She turns on her phone.
That's an invasion of privacy. You don't need to know where I'm at. When we are done with date night, you don't need to know where I go. Like, Len, how are you okay with this? That's a really
society.
weird...
Like I said,
that doesn't
even
make it
my
okay.
daughter, all of her friends are all
That doesn't make it... It's a different thing for a girl squad to be protective of one another. When they go out together, like, first of all, I love that. But guess what? Being able to track your friend after some dude has drugged her and dragged her out of a club... is sort of helpful, but it would have been nice if you were paying attention to her when she was in front of your face. So, being able to track an iPhone when somebody tosses it in a trash can.
Seems like a double standard. You can have all your friends' locations, but you can't have your boyfriends or your girlfriends.
Why would you encourage that in people that are not, first of all, why would you encourage that in that is borderline abusive, stalkerish, like overbearing. That's frightening. That's a scary place. If you're okay now, because what happens if they get in a fight and she wants to get away from him and she's like, we're done, and he's sitting there in her phone.
Location off.
No. Why would he even be doing it in the first place? Why are you like, that's wild to me. I would think that you would be very concerned. Like, I know there's a lot of my dads would be like, excuse me, say what? He put there was just a story in the news here with the cop who had the AirTags in his girlfriend's car and was arrested for stalking. It was she could not get away from. You think that that's okay?
I don't think it's okay, but I think it's normal.
That's the most frightening thing I think. And you've said a lot of wild shit
I don't necessarily think it's okay. How can you condone it? It is what it is. But it's always been that way.
No, it hasn't.
I mean,
no.
I would bet.
No, Len.
I would bet there's girls and guys out there using their dude's location or their wife's location so that they can fuck around.
Lenny, that used to be something that was like, you're crazy. Like, that was grounds for a restraining order. Like, what you're talking about right now that is normal, like me doing drive-bys, not okay. Like, that's borderline crazy behavior, and I can admit it. Like, I wasn't going to roll up on anybody. I wasn't peeking in your windows, but I was definitely trying to catch your ass in a lie. And I did.
That was normal.
I know, but I wasn't tracking your phone. Like, this is something. But
it's just because you have new tools. I guarantee you.
No, that's crossing a line.
If you had those tools when you were stalking, fucking doing drive-bys.
I'm grown and I don't do it. I don't do it because it's not normal. I'm sitting here telling you.
Say what you just said. You're grown.
Yeah.
So if you were that same girl doing drive-bys and you had the ability to log into his ring phone, his ring, you would.
Lenny, you're justifying it for adults, though, too. Like, what I'm telling you is, in a relationship, like, your husband and your wife and track my phone or find my phone.
Today's adults are now technologically savvy. They have these
You're
tools.
55. You grew up before that. What are you talking about? And you do it.
Well, I don't have to drive.
And your wife
saving gas.
And your wife does it like
it's saving gas.
So I mean, you're saying, oh no, these people didn't grow, and you are the ones that are teaching your children that this is normal behavior for a 14 or 15-year-old in a relationship. Like, talk about codependency. Talk about creating an unnatural level of access to a person. Like, these are kids who are supposed to have curfews. These are kids who are supposed to be reporting to parents, not to their partners. Like, what is that? That's crazy town. And now you're talking about, you said, like, and then on top, that's a part of growing up. Like, lying to your parents, I hate to say it, is a part of growing up. Like, I'm going to sneak out of the house. Like, there's certain things, and you have to learn why that's not a good thing. Like, you have to learn that somebody in your life should know where you are that cares about you. But there's also those times, like, and I don't know if you've ever been around, like, I've had friends that were in horrible, abusive, domestic violent type situations. And this level of access is just frightening. And to think that, it's being normalized as, that's just how things are because you have that. No, you should be telling your daughter, absolutely not. Your boyfriend doesn't need unlimited access to your whereabouts at 15 years old. Absolutely not. When you tell him you're going home, he should take that at face value, period. Him being able to get in your phone and be like, you said you were going home and now you're at Jackson's. Like, what the fuck? How would you be okay with that as a parent, as a dad?
Because, like I just
said,
that's
not a healthy relationship,
all of her friends are in her phone. Every one of her friends. You turn on her Find My iPhone, 15 fucking people pop up and you see where they all are. So why would you exclude your boyfriend from that?
Because that's a different kind of relation. Your girlfriends are not your, like,
it's not just
partner.
Girlfriends, friends, boys, everybody. Everybody in their friend
group.
And
first of all, everybody doesn't need access to you like that. That's also
But that's normal. That's very normal for kids.
Why you're saying, no. That's because you allow it. You really think that that's normal, Lenny, for a man who's an absolute loner and likes to disconnect, for you to sit here and I get that they're your children, that you think that is normal. I guarantee you there's a lot of parents that would disagree with that. Like, there's a lot of parents. It's okay that I know where you're at all times, but your friends don't need to know where you're at all times. And the person that you're dating, first of all, you're lucky I'm even letting you date. Like, that's first for a lot of people. Like, but he or she definitely does not need to know where you're at. And again, that teaches that sets a standard for an unhealthy level of access that, can quickly spiral out of control, downward, and go left. Especially, you love to say that kids don't have control over their emotions, that they can't make rash decisions. So why would you want a person of the opposite sex that could be jealous, that could be possessive, overbearing, any of these things, and hide it, could be narcissistic, manipulative, whatever, having that kind of access, male or female, to your kids?
Listen, I get what you're saying. Miranda has a boyfriend that she's had, they're serious. They see each other almost every day. Of course, we did a background check. We scared the living shit out of him.
You do a background check.
We've done all those
let
things.
Him stalk her phone. I don't get it.
He's not stalking her, though. It's normal for them to know where their friends are.
That is not normal.
It's normal for them.
That is not. No. But it's because you've normalized it. You saying, yes, this is okay. You could easily go into her phone. I'm sure you have access and could delete people. Can you not? Don't you have control over her phone? Do you have control over her phone?
Everybody does.
Miranda, 17?
Yes.
She's old. She's going to go off to college. Like this is how young women end up dead in dumpsters. Like, I'm not saying, I don't want you to, I'm not directing this at her. I'm just like, it's so scary to me because relationships at that age, at any age, but there's, again, on one hand, we're sitting here talking about how kooky and crazy the world is, right? And then on the other hand, we are posting pictures, our location, we're giving people all of this information to where we are, where we're at, and then we're giving it to our children. We're giving people that kind of access to our kids.
Do you think that's making it kooky?
Yes.
You think that's making the world kooky?
We already know that.
I have a funny one that somebody sent me the other day.
We already know, Lenny, that
goes right along
Len,
with this.
Shut up for 2 seconds. We already know that the level of bullying is far beyond what it ever was when we were in school, because people now have access to you 24/7, as you can tell by this conversation, via text messages, via what they can post on Snapchat and on Twitter and on Instagram and on TikTok and all of these things. So if you don't think that this is unnatural, like, so when you have your girl squad, right, and then all of a sudden you fall out with somebody, there's no hiding from this group of people. Or now I get eliminated from the Find Your Phone, and I'm like, why'd she eliminate me from Find Your Phone?
Why'd she unfriend me?
Like, do you understand what I'm saying? So now there's a million ways to diss somebody. There's a million ways to make a friend feel less than. There's a million. There's
See, what we're really not teaching our kids is sticks and stones. That's what we're not teaching our kids. Because
that has nothing to do with domestic violence.
No, it has nothing to do with domestic violence, but it has to do with bullying. It has a lot to do with bullying. Because today, you're bullied if someone says a word you don't like. You're bullied.
No, I mean
that's not bullying.
When I talk about the bullying, I'm talking about the young girls who, obviously, we need to teach people to be responsible and accountable.
Let me just read this meme real quick because it's funny.
Thank you, Len.
We don't judge other relationships because last night we looked up divorce lawyers and now we're going to our favorite restaurant together. So that's the way a lot of relationships are. They're volatile. Women have this, whole time frame that they're completely out of their mind. And it could last from a week to 3 weeks.
Are you really doing the period card right now?
I'm just saying, relationships are volatile.
Holy shitballs.
Relationships are volatile.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is just an episode of Hearst right now. He has blown me away by crazy shit.
Just saying.
For the first time,
men have football. Men have football. They don't want to, they don't want to be bothered.
Football too. Who
I get it.
Do you know who you sit on the
I know.
couch?
But you know what I'm saying.
You don't even watch football.
There's times that men don't want to be bothered, and there's times that women don't want to be bothered. But today's society is not like that.
What does that have to do with turning on your Ring camera and stalking your partner?
Because it's available.
That doesn't mean you do it.
I grew up always looking over my shoulder, always, I never wanted to be followed, never wanted to be tracked, never. That's just the way I am. I drive the way I drive so that no one can fucking follow me. Okay? Because if somebody's following me, it's either a cop trying to give me a ticket or some fucking lunatic.
But everybody in your family knows exactly where the fuck you are.
Maybe. No, my shit's not on. My shit's never on. What are you, crazy? That's why people go to extremes. This
motherfucker is crazy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I need 30 seconds to get back up. He thinks it's normal for his daughter's boyfriend to have full access to her via Find My Phone. But when I ask him, a whole grown-ass man, about his phone, are you crazy? Are you? Nobody can find me. My shit is off. What are you saying? You literally talk out of both sides of your face.
No, you're asking my opinions on things, and, it's normal for kids. I didn't grow up that way.
None of us did. It's not normal. This is a new phenomenon. Thank you, iPhone, in the last 5 years. This is not normal. You had to be a crazy person. You had to own your crazy. You had to post up in bushes and wait for a bitch to come home so you could be like, surprise! Like that, and you were crazy. You had to own your crazy. This is different. This is like justification for crazy. Well, my phone lets me do it, so I must not be crazy. No, you're crazy.
It's just lazy crazy.
You
don't have to drive.
Hashtag lazy crazy. There you go. So it's not normal. It's craziness. It's madness. It is madness. And we're giving people a level.
Every person that I've ever encountered in my life, for the most part, has had some level that some other person would call crazy.
We're all situationally crazy. All of us.
Okay.
It doesn't mean, no. There's a difference, though, again, between going through something and owning it or normalizing it. Like, that is something very different. Like, normalizing being able to just pull up your phone and casually see where somebody is.
Well, this is one of those unforeseen consequences of becoming attached and addicted to your phone and to having all of this stuff at your fingertips. When Facebook was founded, it wasn't founded to be what it is today. It was founded as a social network for people to So when they came up with the family sharing thing on iPhone, it was for families so they knew where their families were. So they knew where their kids are. They knew where their parents were. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. Yeah. It's going to morph into 100 times that. It wasn't intended to be that, but now it's there and now it's normal.
But no. Once again, stop using that word, though, because we as people normalize it when it comes to folks out. When it comes to
it's normal for Gen Z.
For using it outside. But again, I'm having a conversation with somebody who is not Gen Z, and the fact that should not be normal to you. So you're justifying their behavior, and you love to throw out the pussification of America and all of these things all the time. But then you as a father sit there and say, well, this is normal for them. Like, no, remember, you have to set the tone. You have to set the boundaries. You have to teach your children what is and isn't acceptable behavior, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in a friendship, whether that's in a parent-child situation, whether that's in a classroom setting. Like, it's about boundaries, right? Like, that's frightening to me to hear somebody who I know is so protective of their privacy in some ways that you would really sit here and normalize that for young children. Like, that's scary to me because that isn't normal. And now you have a generation of kids growing up, right? If multiple people are doing this, either watching their parents spy on one another, like, and then you wonder why people are fucked up. You wonder why we have trust issues.
But I mean, do you think the Ring camera is normal?
Do I think the ring camera? Absolutely not. Do I think the level to which we are recorded in 2023 is normal? Absolutely not.
But it is normal to today's standard. So here's the thing. Sometimes you think I'm crazy because I think things are normal, and sometimes you feel like, on certain topics, this is just the evolution of it. So if you're going to accept the evolution of everything.
You're normalizing it for other people, but it's not what's actually normal in your mind. So, like, when I say something
it is normal in my mind for my kids to have their shit all together. It's normal for me. That's normal to me. Does that mean that I have to partake in it? No.
No, but you also, I don't think, would educate your oldest son, Nick, or would encourage even Joey to allow that level of access to himself in relationship. Like, that's not the messaging that you put out, not even on this couch in this podcast.
No, it's not necessarily. It's, the level of that you choose to give your partner access to you has nothing to do with what I would teach my boys. What I teach my boys is that you're the fucking man in the relationship. Wear the goddamn pants. Okay? That's what I teach my boys. I don't teach them, if they choose for their significant other to share their locations.
You call your friends pussies for doing that.
Okay.
On this couch.
But that's fine.
So would you call your sons pussies too?
No, I call my sons, I let them make choices in their relationships.
But you have
that's
thoughts
on them.
But you have thoughts on it because you have thoughts, like I said.
Opinions are opinions, Kimmy.
Okay.
That's not what I instill in my children. I instill in my children to think for them fucking selves, and that you're the man in the relationship. So if you choose not to be, that's up to you. That's your choice.
So thinking for yourself, though, is not saying something is normal when it's not. I don't think cops would tell you that it's normal to just give everybody access to your location. I told you we had an entire security team come into my old job, and they were like, you guys are all a bunch of idiots. And we were like, wait, what? And he was like, you've got your license plates in the back of pictures. Like, you guys are posting in real time from places. Like, your radio personalities, your TV personalities, you're giving people access to your... Like, every photo... Are you ready for this? Every photo that you take, if you don't turn that, is geotagged in your phone for the most part.
Yeah,
and if it's not geotagged... But again, do you know how many people just turn their phones on and don't know this?
Yes,
and
people have no idea what they're
And if they're
away.
not geotagged, they're tagged with a date and a time, right? So you're talking to somebody like, oh, this is where I'm at right now, and you send them a picture, and it's really from a month ago, and all you got to do is swipe up.
We like to call those stock photos.
But
I'm playing pool here.
But this is
look, there's the pool table.
Though, is that again, that's not normal, and it's not healthy. And the fact that people know that and process situations in that manner, and then we wonder why the divorce rate is what it is, or we wonder why, like, our grandparents could stay married for 80 years because like, that was what people did. You didn't just run away from fights. And most of them will tell you what? We didn't like each other for 40 of them. Like, and if you have truly honest older people in your life, they're like, you get through the good times.
And then they die within a week of each other usually.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's not always easy, right? But they also didn't have this unlimited access to their person. Like, you had to just take some shit at face value. You had to trust somebody to do the right thing. And then, yes, you could do a little digging.
My grandfather knew my grandmother was at home cooking dinner and raising kids. That's where she was. If she wasn't home, she was walking back from the grocery store.
Okay.
Or in the garden.
And if he said he was going to go play dominoes with somebody, she took him at his word for that.
And I'm sure he did. Probably made a couple stops on the way there and on the way home. But whatever. He eventually got to that place where he said he was going to be.
Sitting there like, okay, honey, and smiling in his face, and then pulling out her iPhone and watching him walk in real time.
Welcome
like,
to technology.
Hey. Or no, you say that, though, but it's still about respecting boundaries. Like, this is the whole point of this conversation. Just because you have access to it, just because it happens, just because it is, does not make it right. We are still human beings first. We still deserve respect. We still deserve to have our boundaries respected. We still have the right to our own privacy in our house.
Let me ask you a question, though. If you know you're standing next to a fucking Ring camera, what kind of expectations of privacy do you have?
What do you mean? I have the expectation that my person trusts me enough not to spy on me. That's
you
wild.
already know you're having troubles in your marriage.
That doesn't mean just because we're having trouble doesn't mean you spy on the person. What sort of degenerative relationships are you used to, man? This is scary, what you're saying to me.
Really? Because you just said you've been in relationships where you...
And I was crazy. I'm telling you. And I was, literally, in my mind, same shit. They were not
crazy
healthy.
right now.
What I'm telling you is that was not healthy. That was not a healthy situation. And in retrospect, I can look back on it and go, if somebody makes you feel like you need to drive by their house at 2 o'clock in the morning because you don't believe that they are where they said they are or that they are alone, you probably shouldn't be with them. I'm just going to throw that one out there. If you feel like you got to...
But you don't think that's a personal problem?
What do you mean?
That's not your problem?
Of course it is. Just like it's your problem for turning on the Ring camera.
But why is it the guy's fault that you're spying on him?
What do you mean?
Well, you said you shouldn't be with them.
I shouldn't be with him. He's lying to me, and he's sticking his dick places it doesn't belong.
No, but you don't know that. You're just driving by in anticipation of catching him.
And when you do catch them, bada boom, bada bing, gotcha.
Wasn't me.
I saw you because my friend almost ran you over with her car.
Wasn't me.
Literally. I've followed a motherfucker on the highway before. I get
Wasn't
it.
Me.
But the point is, if somebody has you feeling that insecure, or if you are that insecure, you probably need to do some self-reflecting. You probably need to do some healing. You probably need to do some introspective, work before being in a relationship, period. Right? Again, hindsight is 20/20. We all have to fuck up and make mistakes. I get that. But normalizing that kind of access, normalizing somebody being able to look at your every move, that's not a way to...
So if it's a healthy relationship and everything is good, but you just have your trackers on for general purposes...
Lenny, you're the first one to tell me that people, that adolescents can't make sound decisions.
Oh, I know that.
Okay. So as much as you could say it's a healthy relationship, right? How healthy is it? It could go left at any minute. You've said kids are erratic. They're irrational. You know what I mean? You literally look at somebody the wrong way, and the next thing you know... Yep. It's World War III. So I'm just saying that to me is just an odd level of access to be comfortable with or normalizing for young people. Because unfortunately, when you go off to college and things happen and you're not in those same familiar settings, you don't live at home anymore. Now, and you've gotten into this habit of sharing your location with everybody that you date or, anybody that you date, I think that there needs to be a little bit of discernment, and it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of discernment.
Dating and a boyfriend, I think, are two different things.
No, you said everybody, though. You're telling me that all of their friends have...
All of her friends group is in her phone.
Okay.
All of Joey's friends group is in his phone.
These
are his friends.
But did you hear about the high school kids, in Miramar, that literally set up and murdered the 17-year-old because they found out that somebody had slept with somebody's boyfriend or whatever, and a great way to find people in their location and do crazy shit is by having Find My Phone. They were all friends. They were a friend group, and he was killed by his supposed friends and a girlfriend. So what I'm saying is...
That's always happened, even when we didn't have
Lenny,
tracking.
But you're talking about making it... You at least had to do a little legwork. You at least had to put in a little effort. Now... I just
crazy.
I find it very odd that you're okay
That's a
with
shirt, lazy crazy.
It is a shirt. He trademarked it.
We haven't had a shirt in a long time.
As soon as we
Kimmy
wrapped,
hasn't told me it was a shirt in a long time.
As soon as we wrapped this episode, he trademarked it. Don't even try it. And he's quick with the trademark. I just that surprises me about you, Len, that you would be okay with people having that level of access, to your kids. I just again, because I know how
people is a very general thing. Her friends or his friends.
How many of those friends do you think how many friends do you have? How many of those people do you think are still going to be her friends in the next 10 or 15 years? That's
but
not
that doesn't mean they're always going to have access. My kids don't just give someone access and leave it there forever.
But Lenny, this is my point to you, is that there's a level of discernment that you should be teaching, I would think, or that I would think that you would teach, not everybody should have access to your phone and your whereabouts and your location, period. Like, that's just mom, dad, the bestie, you know what I mean? Whoever you're going out with that night, maybe. Like, because you can, like you said, you can turn it on and turn it off. So, okay, we're rolling out tonight. Let's everybody keep it on in case somebody goes to grab something from somewhere or whatever. I need a ride home and I need to know where you went. That's a different situation to me. But just everybody in the group chat knows exactly where I am? Abso-fucking-lutely not. And like I said, just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. And I just feel like at that point, now you're normalizing, you know, this sort of voyeuristic behavior that people don't deserve to have into your life. Like, and then again, when you get to that level, like, imagine you have roommates and they're just spying on you. Like, that's wild, but we're acting like this is normal behavior. And the more you normalize it at a young age, they grow up thinking like, oh no, you just turn the Ring camera on and you look like it's okay. Like, not okay. You have to teach boundaries. That doesn't change just because we make technological advances. As people, we still have the right to privacy. We still have the right to, again, boundaries, and those boundaries being respected. How can you fight me on this?
Because everybody has a different idea of what the boundary should be. This is a very subjective thing. But you walk in this room right now, there's a camera in the corner. You're not under the impression that you're not being recorded. You know you're being recorded. Now, covert stuff, okay, you're getting into the wacky. You have a roommate that puts a fucking teddy bear cam in your room. That's creepy. That's over the boundaries. But if you guys have a fucking camera in your living room and your roommate hears you say something and you know there's a camera there, that's not boundaries. It's clear. It's there. I mean, in today's society, if you don't know that no matter where you go, you're on a motherfucking camera, then you're a dumbass.
In your house, though? In your home?
No, that's what I'm saying. In your house, if you have cameras, yeah, a Ring camera, your fucking porch, you put the camera there because of the fucking box bandits that keep taking your fucking Amazon douchebags, and then you wonder why it caught you on camera saying some dumb shit.
No. Me going back, like me trying to make sure my family is safe, me trying to make sure my packages get delivered properly and not fucked up and broken in my fucking, or that my DoorDash driver's not spitting on my food. Like
they do that in the car.
Which, well, they do it on camera too.
Oh yeah.
So to your point, hello Florida man. But your partner is something different. Just randomly cutting on the camera, randomly, you know, again, I'm sure parents do it to their children. Mom and dad are going out of town. We're going to keep an eye on you. Like, as a child, that's something, yes, you should, especially if you're a fucking teenager, like, you want to throw a party, try it.
Listen,
I get that.
When I was 16 years old, and you could ask my best friend this, that's been my friend for 45 years, my fucking dad always knew where the fuck I was and what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And he did it by knowing people in different places who would fucking call as soon as they fucking saw me. I'm sorry, it's easier now, but parents and loved ones and
I'm not mad at
exes
that,
and everything have always
a parent looking out for their child. Now, you doing that to your wife is a different situation. Now you're trying to control her. Now you are trying to keep tabs. Doing that for your children to make sure that they're safe is a different situation. Now, if you're in the fucking mafia, or you know there's a hit out on you, or you know that you're maybe a district attorney or somebody and your family could be at risk, again, there are extenuating circumstances that make this whole conversation null and void. Joe and Sophie Turner, not so much. And what we're talking about right now, I'm not mad at a parent who's out of town.
But you're married to a spouse.
Checking in on their kids. Yes.
Why?
Seeing your wife and her friend. There's no
My wife tells
there.
me she's going to Publix and Target and then coming home, and I fucking log in and she's having lunch with her girlfriends at fucking wherever. And I'm like, well, Target? Publix? What happened to that? Oh, I didn't make it to Target.
Okay.
Why not?
Why are you checking on her, though?
Why not?
What do you mean? But why? You don't have a reason to do it. You're keeping tabs.
Listen.
You're keeping tabs on
Let me tell you. You know I have cameras in my businesses, right?
Yeah.
I log into those cameras maybe once every 2 or 3 days. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I turn on the mics and every time I log into those cameras, I see some fucked up shit. Every fucking time. And it's 2 or 3 days.
But do you tell your employees that they're on camera?
Of course.
Okay, but again, so to your point,
If your wife knows you're tracking her, you told your wife you're tracking her.
But how many people are telling, and she's okay with having an overbearing, borderline crazy.
Yeah, and you're okay with having an overbearing, crazy fucking wife. It's the same thing both ways.
If she's doing it. Once again, what did I just tell you? Don't take your shit out on me, buddy.
It's both ways.
No, it's not, though, because like I said, I'm a person, I don't want to see your phone. I had to learn the hard way, right? And I wasn't the person that was going to jump out of the...
That's you, so you're okay if your dude is banging other girls. You don't want to know.
No, I'm not okay with it. If I find out about it, it's over.
Okay, but you're not going to actively try.
Seek that information out. Absolutely not.
Do you hear that, guys?
That's not my jam.
All right.
It's, again, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to. And if I ask you, it's because I'm in a place where I'm honestly good to hear the answer. Like, we're not at that space, right?
Okay.
Like, so then we're good.
That's okay.
But, like, again, if you're an employer and you have cameras in your establishment, I believe you should tell your employees up front. Don't try to catch them. Don't try to hit them with the okie doke. Like, hey, you're on camera and we log in periodically. So mind your P's and Q's. It is what it is, right? Like, and if something goes missing or if something is broken, we will pull the footage. They do that at my building.
Of course.
Like something, a cable goes missing. It's an expensive cable. Guys, please return it or we're going to pull the footage. You know what I mean? And voila, cable miraculously appears.
Goes back up.
I'm not mad at that. But in a situation where you're talking about two adults that have committed their life together or in a partnership, like there's a level of trust. Now, if you're that person and you're just going to cut the camera, like, if you tell me up front, like, I might just cut the cameras on. I might just listen to you talk. First of all, you're crazy and I want out now. But if I decide to stay, then at least to your point, yes, I know. I don't expect anybody that I'm dealing with to literally log into our Ring camera, see me with my homegirl on the front porch saying goodbye or whatever, and turn the mics on just to hear what we're talking about. Like, and then use it against me. Like you said, if you're a parent and you hear your kids say something, there's ways that you might go about it, right? So you don't seem like you're invading their privacy.
Well, that's what
seem like you're spying.
In general anyways. Real men don't ever divulge where they got their information.
I don't agree with you at all. Real men, like no, there's so many. Again, we've had how many people here? Like, you can use your word real man. There's a lot of fucking, what's the opposite of an alpha? Beta. There's a lot of betas out there, bro. Yeah. And I don't know that an alpha is going to allow himself to be, like I said, I mean, I think a real man would approach the situation in a calm manner.
Here's the reason.
Not saying.
Here's one of the reasons. Because everyone has different insecurities and different things that they grew up with or, have been fucked over in another relationship or whatever. Mm-hmm. So if your man came to you and said, look, it would make me feel better if I had your location on my phone. Mm-hmm. Would you say no?
If he came to me like that, absolutely not.
Okay.
If he seemed like a calm, rational...
So now you're letting him track you. So at what point do you stop him from tracking you? When he pisses you off, you're going to go and just shut off the block him from tracking you? See, you can't determine necessarily in the beginning of a relationship or anything else when that's going to become stalkerish or just making them feel comfortable.
I get that. It's not my job at 15 or 16 in a dating situation to make you feel comfortable. Like that to me is just setting you're setting a bad
like I said, in my daughter's relationship, in that, it's a very innocent thing. Her friend, they have a friend group. Everybody's in it. Everybody knows where they are. She's not on it questioning where her boyfriend is, and he's not on it questioning where his girlfriend is. That's not what they're using. How do you know that? Because I know them. I know both of them.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that they have every conversation with you. I'm sure every time she's ever wondered where he is or he's not necessarily.
No, but I know them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. I'm just saying, I don't think that you're setting a healthy standard. Like, you asked me, again, I'm an adult. You don't get to sit here and say children can't make rational decisions and they're irrational and they're erratic and they're emotional, and then say that they're...
I had a girl when I was 16 years old take the fucking battery out of my car.
Okay, I love when you just prove my points to you. Like, I love this for me. Like, thank you. So, again, you're just, and I'm so mad that I'm losing my words right now, but it's like when you're kind of setting yourself up with a standard that, like, okay, again, she lives at home with her parents. There's a safety net there. There's a group of friends. When you go away and you're away at college or when you're in a new city by yourself,
that's
you
a
don't
different
have
story.
squad.
Yeah, stranger danger is a different thing than.
No, but if you're setting this precedent for yourself, that's my word. If you're setting this precedent for yourself with your high school relationship, so now whoever you date, when they come to you and they say this, like I'm talking about when you're in a relationship as an adult, like as a grown person, and that might be, again, you have to learn to, I think, to weigh those things out. Like I would never give somebody I wasn't in a serious committed relationship with my location. Like that's not even something
Okay,
and if you're asking me for that.
But you would give it to somebody who you were in a serious committed relationship with.
Yeah. You think that that's high school?
Listen, it's my daughter's first boyfriend and they're
so she's setting a precedent.
They're together for X amount of time, you know. It's a serious relationship. They see each other every day. Yeah, to them it's the most serious relationship ever. Mm-hmm. Because it's their first. So how can you argue with that? It is what it is. Am I telling my daughter, don't give strangers your location? Of course. Am I telling my daughter to keep her fucking head on a swivel? Yes. But if I can't trust her friends to have that information, then there's a problem. Because right now
you don't trust anybody to have that information on you.
Yeah. But I do trust her friends to have it because every one of her friends I could call and find her if there was a problem. Mm-hmm. Which, is a bonus to me.
But you have the information on your own phone.
No, I don't. I don't track my kids. Rachel does.
You don't track your kids, but you allow her boy. Okay. All right, Len.
In order to track your kids, you have to let them track you. FYI.
Oh. See, now you can tell how few people I track. The only time I'm tracking you is when you get in an Uber. That's the only time I need to know where you're going, so I make sure you get to where the fuck you're going, and you're good. Do you know what I'm saying? I should probably track my mom, though, because she's turning... It's like we're switching roles here. She takes 8 hours to get home, and I'm like, answer your phone. Why do you have a phone? Where the fuck were you?
Why don't you just put your
I will.
on?
I will.
You'll know where she is all the time.
I will. Me and my mom. That's it, though. That's it. Anyway, I don't want to fight with you anymore about this. I just feel like I don't care how great technology gets, we still have to respect our boundaries as human beings, and normalizing this shit is not okay. It's the same way I feel about AI. Normalizing this shit is not okay. And the reason why it becomes just another part of life is because people, let their guard down. Like, again, you're sitting out here. It's not normal for you, so it can't be normal. It can't be normal. You're saying, it's normal for them.
Well, there's plenty of shit that's not normal for me, Kimmy, but apparently it's normal. So don't go to the double standard because there's plenty of shit that's not normal for me that
But this is
in 2023 is normal.
Choose, but you are picking and choosing what is normal
Technology?
About tracking people. Yes, yeah. And who should be able to do it and when they should be able to do it.
I think
and
people
how they
should be aware of what.
So there's
what
no double standard. I feel there's no double standard because the things that I feel that are normal, I've always felt were normal. If you want to talk about the LGBTQ community and certain things like that, which is where you're going with it. So don't hit with the underhanded comments. No, that's exactly where you're going. And the people who watch this podcast know it. What I'm saying is I've stood in that paint for always. There's no swiveling about it. And I feel very strongly about the privacy issue too. And it's just funny to me because you're big on privacy and you're the first one to sit out here and talk about the detriment of these phones and this, that, and the other thing. But then on some situations, you're like,
you have to
it's normal.
Listen. You can't fight evolution. All you can do is
remember you said that.
You can't fight evolution, but all you can do is point out the detriments that could happen with them. If I had this when I was in 7th grade, it would have been a different world. We had to look through books to get information.
But that same, okay.
My kids don't look at it like that. My kids don't look at this as the Encyclopedia Britannica.
But Lenny, it also is limiting them, and it creates a false sense of security in some ways that I'm surprised you're okay with. And that's what I'm talking about when I say these things to you. Like, you're like, oh, if I had this, things would have been different, but you didn't, and it taught you life lessons, right? And so you can give your child, and you've talked about this on this podcast before, you know, you can give your child a phone, and it's important to teach them that it's a tool and it's a resource, but that it can be abused. I'm asking you, like,
and we do
don't
that.
we think this is a little bit abusive?
We do that, and they've all been drilled that anything you put on the internet stays on the internet forever. They know the downfalls, but I personally don't feel that their friends tracking them in a friends group is detrimental. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and
would I tell my daughter not to give some dude she goes on one date with her fucking information? Of course not. Of course I would tell her that.
Those aren't the guys that usually end up going upside your daughter's head. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I feel you.
That's the scary place.
They're going to have to deal with me and Richie if they do.
Well, and
we explain that to them up front.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay,
so, it's just that simple. They're explaining, this is clearly how it is. You're more than welcome. You're a good guy. You do anything wrong, we're going to fuck you
Again, it's just about the precedent, and I'm surprised. It surprises me with how big you are on anonymity and individuality and maintaining your boundaries and, controlling the level of access people have to you and things like that.
That doesn't mean I don't want to have a higher level of access to other people.
But you're creating a precedent again. So at 14, 15, whenever your kids get their phone.
It's like the Wizard of Oz.
You're giving people, but again, Len, you have learned enough to know, I want access to you, but you can't have access to me.
Yeah.
You understand? If you don't teach that to kids, they don't understand that.
They're learning.
But do you see that you just keep backing up exactly the fuckery that I'm talking about, though? They're learning by watching shady shit. They're learning by watching people cut on the cameras. They're learning by watching people eavesdrop and ear hustle. So again, you're teaching, but it's just fucking skewed and fucked up. We're creating don't bitch when these are the most fucked up human beings on the planet, though. With the zero child.
You can't not let the lessons be learned by what's available now. You cannot, No, you
can teach.
Is Sansa ever going to talk in front of a Ring camera again? No. You know why? Because she learned her fucking lesson. That's what it is today, Kimmy. It's like, you ever see the fucking thing where the kid goes to stick the wire in the socket and the mom's like, oh, and the dad's like, no, let him do it. Zzz. He ain't gonna do that again.
You're just excusing bad behavior, and you're putting you're victim blaming. You're literally victim blaming.
I'm teaching the way I was taught.
No, but Lenny, again, that's like saying, okay, it's all right if you walk into your favorite restaurant and the person next to you just has their phone on like this, and is just recording you.
Yeah, but that happens every fucking day. No, what I'm teaching you is not to put out information that you do not want other people to know.
So don't have a conversation ever.
Aware.
Just, you know what? So cool. We'll all put on our DVR glasses and we'll all lock ourselves in our fucking houses and we'll live in the metaverse.
Lock everybody down.
And never have a conversation with anybody.
Wand to people,
what are you talking about? How about people be decent human beings?
How many events do you go to? How many events do you know that celebrities have where you got to fucking leave your phone? You cannot take your phone. A lot. That's why. Because they know that if you bring your fucking phone in, there's a chance they're going to get recorded.
But guess what?
So you leave your phone here, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's a safe environment.
Okay, so then you're saying every household, when you walk in your house now, in another 10 years, because you have a generation that's grown up just fucking spying on each other, as soon as you walk in, this is going to be a new development. There's going to be a phone lockbox at the front door where you just all put your phones up and lock it away.
As a matter of fact, they already have them.
I know that, but
besides
they're not for the spy factor. But okay,
well, I wouldn't bet that it's not going to be too long before somebody can tap into your Alexa.
Stop bitching about where humanity is at. Everybody stop bitching about where humanity.
No.
If you continue to make excuses and to validate bad fucking behavior and people being terrible fucking humans and not respecting one another's privacy, not respecting boundaries, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to, like, man the fuck up. If you want a fucking divorce, just divorce. I'm not in love with you anymore. I don't need to spy on you to tell you I'm not in love with you anymore. I don't need some dirt on you to tell you I'm not. I just don't want to fuck you anymore. I don't want to be married to you. Let's go our separate ways. Cool. Like, you know, I'm a parent. I'm watching you. We're going out of town. The cameras are on. I'm watching you. You're an employer. There should be a sign on the wall. Yes, you are being recorded. Don't steal from me. I will know. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, what's the next thing? You walk into like, you know, we're at a place where people are horrible humans. They're putting fucking cameras in hotel room plug outlets and spying on people. Like, this is more and more common every fucking day. Like, that shit is not okay. And your excuse is, well, you should just know there's the technology, so it could be happening to you. Nah, the shit is fucked up.
Okay, it's fucked up. Be aware of it. It's fucked up. Be aware of it.
Why can't you ever just demand more from people? Like, instead of, like, you realize that this is
because I'm a realist.
Yeah, but it's bad. No, it's one thing for the government to do it.
Because people are bad.
I get it, but like you, if the government was, which they are, and I don't want to have that conversation right now. But you hate it. But your friend doing it to you, your boss doing it to you, your spouse doing it to you, meh. The technology's there. You should have known better. That doesn't fucking make sense. You don't just get to get mad at it when it's Big Brother doing it to you. When it's your fucking wife, when it's your boyfriend, when it's your teacher. Like, that's wild. Like, that's not acceptable from the people that you care about and the people that you're supposed to be able to trust and feel like. That's why. And we teach that to people. We teach that to children. People feel it's okay because they see it happen by people that they respect, that they look up to.
Let me tell you how I think my teenage daughter and her boyfriend would look at it. This is just an opinion. But they would think something shady was going on if they turned it off. Because that's their life.
Yeah, because they've given them access in the first place. They wouldn't know that if they didn't let them have access to their location in the first place. So yes, now if I turn it off, where the fuck? It's like, it's like when the blue bubble goes green, right? Like on an iPhone. And you're like, did I just get blocked?
That shit just blocked.
Like, did I just get blocked? Maybe they're on a plane. Let me pull up the flight. That
bitch turned off.
Flight navigator.
That bitch turned off iMessaging.
You know what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute. And then the next time you're at, like, wherever, like, you're at their house, you're trying to find the dead spots. Well, maybe they're in the kitchen. Maybe they're in the bathroom. Do you know what I mean?
Sounds like you're a certain kind of crazy, too.
No, but again, that's deduction. That's not like turning off a location. Did
somebody tell you that, or is you actually?
No. I mean, I that I know. But but it happens when you're also just out of range in some situations. I've yet to be blocked. I've yet to be officially blocked. Anyway, and I don't really. Anyway.
All right.
But yeah, we can wrap this up. But please just be decent human beings.
I want you guys deep in the comments on this one. Deep in the comments, because I know there's a lot of differing opinions about this.
Well, yeah.
I want you deep in the
comments. Are you letting your friends, your kids' friends, track them? Would you be okay with your kids, your teenagers, being in quote-unquote relationships and they're tracking each other's locations? They have that kind of access to each other. Would you, is it fair to use information you come across spying using home surveillance equipment like your Ring camera in a relationship? Like, are you confronting your hubs or your wife or your partner, you know, about some shit you overheard on the Ring camera? Or is that just, you know, you put it in the mental storage bank? Like, I don't know. Is that grounds for, like, that's not even fair. I'm spying on you. I heard you say this. Now let's have a fight about it. Like, that's...
You touched on two things.
Anyway.
Life is not fair, and people are not nice. And that's pretty much it. Go through life like that, you might be all right.
It doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it change either.
No, you can demand more from the people in your life. I get it. Like, so you can man the fuck up and either take that bullshit, or you can man the fuck up and demand more. There's two ways of looking at the manning the fuck up part of it, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway. We'll see you for episode 70. I told you this one was going to be fun. On the ManTFup Podcast, like, subscribe, share, follow. What did we say? Oh, yeah. If you see a clip and you didn't quite follow or you're outraged, watch the whole episode.
Watch the whole episode.
Because there's probably more to the conversation than what you caught. All right? Peace out.
Peace.